Well, folks, today brings the end of yet another era here in the GGR Diecast Indycar series. My name is Bryson Collins, and we are here for today's presentation of the series. Make sure you go check out Diecast on Instagram at OREGONDIECAST. As here on Work TV, we get to the conclusion of what's been a long, um, somewhat enduring, but always fun season here in the GGR Diecast IndyCar Series, as we've brought to you all 14 races of the season here live on Work TV's network right here every Tuesday night, and we're glad to have brought you guys everything that's happened this season, from the highs and the lows. It all comes down to what happens here, and we see championship leader Josh Patterson on track. We're going to pull up the GGR point standings here. 5 of your playoff drivers have been eliminated from full-on contention to win the championship here. Here are your point scenarios to clinch championship in the event that Josh Patterson gets maximum bonus points. So Josh Patterson, if he finishes 5th or better, no matter what, he clinches the championship tonight. Blake Kennedy, if he wins, and Josh Patterson. Now this is what's important here. You have to realize there's multiple scenarios on this points graphic here, and you have to realize these are some very specific scenarios. Josh Patterson has really put himself in a great position here for this championship. But anyways, as I was saying, so if Blake Kennedy brings home the victory tonight and Patterson finishes P10 or worse, then Kennedy gets the championship, depending on the finishes of Ethan Harrison, Workman, and Sharps. If Kennedy gets second, Josh Patterson has finished P20 or worse. That scenario is out of the equation. There's not 20 cars here tonight. Ethan Harrison must win, and Josh Patterson must finish 13th or worse. The other scenario, Patterson P24 or worse, is not likable here tonight, as once again I mentioned, we don't have enough cars here tonight. We have Ethan Workman. He must win. Patterson must finish 15th or worse. I believe we barely have 15 cars here tonight. I'm not 100% sure of the official car count here, so I'll double check that one. Anthony Sharps needed Patterson to finish P20 or worse, Kennedy to finish P3 or worse, and he needed to win this race. Unfortunately for Anthony Sharps, that will officially eliminate him from contention as of the grid here tonight. I am joined, unfortunately, by nobody in the booth tonight, so this is going to be a very interesting event here. Nevertheless, let's get into the starting grid for tonight's event here, presented by Oregon Diecast. Make sure you go check out Oregon Diecast on Instagram at OREGONDIECAST. Starting on the poll for today, already an interesting start to this one. 3 of your championship contenders here tonight. 1, 2, 3 here, Josh Patterson on the pole. That's a bonus point for him. That's going to extend his points lead. Now remember, those scenarios were in the event that Josh Patterson gets maximum bonus points. So Blake Kennedy doesn't need to worry too much. Ethan Harrison, he has to worry a little bit, but it's going to be a very interesting finish here. As I mentioned, Ethan Harrison second. Blake Kennedy in his final race for Outlaw Racing. He will line up P3. Also need to mention Josh Patterson. He's in his final race for Nova Sim Racing. So both those guys trying to close out what their tenures with their teams with championship runs here. John Cannizzaro, last week's winner in his debut race, P4 in quals. Aiden Oxenine 5th. Ryan came 6th. Garrett White 7th. Anthony Sharps 8th. Aaron Giffen 9th. Ryan Lockey 10th. Joseph Niglio 11th. The 8 and the 12 are making their GGR debuts tonight. The Noah Janenda in P12, and he rounding out the field here, the 13 of Ethan Workman in 13th, last guy to qualify. Your guys who didn't put down times, Christian Visconti, Dijon Hall, Nick Pena. So Ethan Workman, he's in the mix. Unfortunately, it's very slim here. In fact, if one car just doesn't take the grid, he's pretty much screwed. So he's banking on a big loss here for Josh Patterson. So we'll find out what happens here, folks. It's been a long season, and these guys have tried to put themselves in positions to bring home the $25 championship prize tonight. I believe it is $10 to the race winner here. So Josh Patterson, Blake Kennedy, Ethan Harrison, all 3 of those guys. Well, first of all, it's Ethan Harrison's money, so he's definitely looking to try to win this thing, keep his money. Of course, Blake Kennedy and Josh Patterson, both of them are looking towards trying to win the money as well. So if you notice there, the 75 of Blake Kennedy, he actually moves to the front row. That is because last week, post-race, Josh Patterson received a penalty. That's right, folks. Josh Patterson originally was disqualified from the event. His penalty was appealed. He is given an end-of-line penalty to start tonight's event, and he was also dropped or excuse me, docked 10 points to start the night. So Blake Kennedy will move up into the P1 position here, but that makes Ethan Harrison, he gets to stay in the outside lane as it's a situation where the line moves up here, folks, if you're not familiar with some of these terms here for the league. That's the rule here. So Patterson, he got that EOL for that spin coming off of pit road. Nevertheless, the final race of the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series season is underway here from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Blake Kennedy gets a great jump there in that 75. And like I said, that's exactly the kind of thing he needs right now. Kennedy is in position to win that championship at the moment. Ethan Harrison struggling to get back in the line. He'll find himself in third, actually, so the struggle did not last long. A Oxidine moves up into P2. They're 3 wide behind him. Garrett White, Canizaro, and it looked like Ryan came for a moment there. Behind them, you have Giffen and Ethan Workman. Workman on the rear wing of Aaron Giffen. Workman, another championship contender. He's also in his final race for Outlaw Racing as he will go to Whiteout Sim Racing in the following GGR season. So lots of team moves here. Outlaw Racing losing a couple of guys. Nova Sim Racing losing some guys. It's that's the team battle we've been focusing on all season long. Up front, 3 wide for the lead here. Ethan Harrison going for the lead on his current teammate, Blake Kennedy. Aiden Oxidine jumped to the outside there. They're 3 wide for first. They're 3 wide now for third. And John Canizaro will lift out a line, and they are 2 by 2 here crossing the line. Looks like Ethan Harrison will get that lap led there. And Harrison, he's going for broke here, obviously. I mean, he's got to win this race to really, truly have a chance at that championship. Of course, obviously that was the only scenario for him. So Blake Kennedy right now, he's the only guy who really has a scenario where he doesn't necessarily need to win this race, but it's going to take a lot out of Kennedy and Patterson to truly, I mean, we got 100 laps here. Everything is going to come down to that 100th lap and the status of the drivers on that lap. So right now we're just looking to see who's there at the end of this 100 lap tenure. And it looks like we only had 15 cars take the grid. So Ethan Workman, if one car retires from this event, unfortunately, that will officially eliminate him from playoff contention. As we mentioned, Anthony Sharps, he's eliminated from playoff contention in that 92 machine. So these guys are kind of fighting for third, fourth, fifth in points. Of course, that just depends on Ethan Harrison possibly winning this thing. So it's all down to a lot of scenarios where guys finish, and ultimately right now Blake Kennedy, he is looking to get those bonus points, as if he leads the most laps tonight, he gets a bonus point for that. So that's huge for him, especially if Josh Patterson doesn't get a bonus point for leading a lap tonight, depending on where he runs throughout the night. I'm not 100% sure. I did not clarify with the rule there on the EOL. I believe Patterson still keeps his bonus point for winning the pole position. He just had to start towards the rear. And as you see, the O2, he's making up some ground. He is up to P11 now, as he's working the outside lane a little bit. Now, reminder, Kennedy has to win this event, and Patterson has to finish P10 or worse. So currently, Kennedy is your championship leader at the moment. Actually, not anymore. Josh Patterson has moved his way up in a 10th. He's side by side with Ryan Lockey for it. So that right there, side by side with the O2 and 12. If this was lap 100, we would be very, very focused on that, because that would give Blake Kennedy the championship. Remember, Ethan Harrison needs Patterson to finish P13 or worse, so Harrison really looking for a Patterson retirement pretty much. Same for Ethan Workman, who needs Patterson to finish P15 or worse. As if you don't remember, I'll pull those points up real quick on the screen right there. As I said, if Josh Patterson gets a top 5 or better, he clinches that championship. Kennedy needs to win, Patterson P10 or worse, and Ethan Harrison needs Patterson P13 or worse. Workman needs him 15th or worse. So it's all come down to tonight, folks, here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, under the lights here in Sin City, they call it. I've only been to Las Vegas once in my lifetime, but it was a pretty cool city. So you know, if you haven't ever been to Las Vegas, virtually it looks really cool to be at this racetrack, but being in this racetrack in real life is awesome as well. As we've single filed out for now, Ethan Workman has driven himself up into P4. A great run through the field for that 13 car so far. Ethan Harrison's going to check up on him. He dropped back to 6th. I believe he's playing it a little more patient for now, as he's really just trying to slot himself in line. Right now, Josh Patterson is P8. That is enough for the O2 car to clinch this championship here. So these guys have to keep a lookout on that O2. The O2, I mean, I don't want to say he's got some enemies, but he definitely is not much of a fan favorite here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. So these guys definitely trying to bank on Blake Kennedy winning his second ever GGR championship, or Ethan Harrison taking the championship. As Aaron Giffen has found himself a lap down, not sure what issue that 9 car had. He appears to be okay damage-wise, but he will fall a lap down. He's going to be the first car to go lap down. Must have had some possible contact with somebody, maybe got loose. Something like that happened, but it looks like he's continuing here, and as long as he stays only one lap down, this should be a good show for him. So really single filed out here between the lead cars, so there's not much passing going on right now. As in fact, it looked like for a moment there Dijon Hall was looking to make a move on Ethan Harrison. These guys, they're just straddling that white line right now. There is a rule: you cannot go under the white line on the back straightaway or in the turns. I believe that rule might be the same for the front straightaway too, as it appears these guys are staying above it. Sometimes the front straightaway is allowed, sometimes it's not. This may be an instance where race director Ethan Harrison has not permitted the usage of the inside line there. Is Harrison trying to make a move on John Cannizzaro. Cannizzaro got forced out of line there. A little out of shape. I'm not sure if maybe that was voluntary or involuntary, but Cannizzaro trying to side draft his way to try to keep himself up towards the front there. Ethan Harrison jumps out of line for a second. Not sure what that was. Maybe to get some clean air over the front wing. But ultimately, moving Cannizzaro out of line moves Josh Patterson out of line, or moves up, sorry, excuse me, moves Josh Patterson up a position in line. So really this one is, it's going to come down to the wire. I just, we have a long 100 laps. I mean, 100 laps in IndyCars luckily typically isn't too long, but for tonight's sake, it's going to feel very, very long as Kennedy leads white, and it looks like Aiden Oxidine, he's going to try to jump to the outside here, try to make a move on the 26 of Garrett White. He's got a little bit of a gap between him and Ethan Harrison, so he can definitely try to work this outside here, see if anything happens. Really right now though, not many passing opportunities happening as Josh Patterson is up to 6th, Ethan Workman dropped back to 7th, and they're a little shuffled back here. Looked like Ryan Kame was shuffled out of line there for a moment at the 21. Looks like he's still kind of shuffling out of line, maybe. It looks like he's maybe intentionally trying to work the outside here, but these guys can try to work the outside all they want. Unfortunately, just nothing coming of it right now as Garrett White rides behind Blake Kennedy here, wing to wing pretty much between the top 3, and Ethan Harrison has moved himself back up into P4 as at 77. He was up there kind of battling for the lead, went 3 wide for it, and then unfortunately he kind of dropped back to 6th. He's back up to P4 here, so at 77. Looks like he's trying to get some air over the right front of that front wing, and we'll see if it, if anything amounts out of it. I mean, it's looks like Aiden Oxidine is going to jump to the top side here. That'll allow Harrison to slot into the inside, and I think Oxidine's made a mistake here, as before he's been trying to make that move work, and he had a little bit of a gap between him and Harrison. Harrison filled that hole quickly. It looks like Dijon Hall cuts him off as well. Josh Patterson is right there as well, so unfortunately, Harrison, he's trying to make these moves to get to the lead. Well, oh, Aiden Oxidine is around, and that'll be the first caution of the night. Oxidine taking a tumble. He's missing both his front and rear wings here. Let's go take a look and see what happened with Oxidine. See if maybe he got loose on the top side, or if some contact played a factor. As oh, there we go. He's ping-ponging off the wall here. We're gonna go on to the far chase camera here, folks, and a little bit of a video game camera here, and see if we can find out what exactly happened to Oxidine. Looks like some netcode occurred. Dijon Hall kind of moved off the white line, and unfortunately it launched Oxidine off the wall. We're going to go back one more time, take a look at it. I want you to watch that 10 car on the inside line there. And he kind of gets off the line a little bit, but as you see right there, there's not really any contact before Oxidine gets turned sideways. Right there you see, that's what we here in the iRacing business call netcode. Unfortunately, just a little bit of an internet connection deal, and unfortunately on iRacing sometimes it causes contact, and unfortunately in Oxidine's case that's a fast repair worthy contact. So nothing I'd be personally too, I mean, I'd be frustrated if I made an Oxidine, of course, as netcode is always a frustrating situation, but looks like we have Christian Visconti in the 80 Lyman Media IndyCar staying out here for the moment. Christian Visconti teammates to Ethan Harrison and Blake Kennedy in this event for Outlaw Racing. And it looks like Josh Patterson has jumped the field here on pit road. The 02 has come out P2, and Blake Kennedy looks like he had a major issue on pit road, maybe missed his box or something. He lines up 5th, so big mistakes on pit road for Kennedy and big capitalization for the 02 of Josh Patterson. And Aiden Oxidine is wheeling 3 wheels here. His left rear isn't on the ground either, it seems. I'm not really sure how he managed that. He got his front wing and his rear wing back. He just doesn't have the rest of the car settled into the ground. That's interesting. Okay. Well, we'll see here if Oxidine yeah, he's gonna pull it down pit road there, see if he can get those wheels realigned, I guess. I'm not really sure how that situation didn't get fixed there. That's interesting. As I mentioned, usually these guys, they get one fast repair. What that means is as destroyed as their car gets, luckily this is a virtual world, so we can just kind of, well, you know, fix the damage, get back out there on track. Well, apparently, somehow along the way, in Oxidine's fast repair, it gave him his front wing and his rear wing back. It just made him into a bicycle. So, Aiden Oxidine in that 4 car gonna have to get that fixed. As Josh Patterson has taken the lead here, and obviously that's your championship leader, folks, in the O2. So, I just I don't know how he managed to jump all those positions on pit road. That's pretty incredible. Garrett White lining up second here on this restart. He and Josh Patterson not really fans of each other right now, so these guys hopefully they'll cleanly race hard, and we'll see what happens there. Ethan Harrison, he's up into P3. He's in a good spot right now on the inside line. And Blake Kennedy, man, I'm still really confused. I'm not sure what happened to him on pit road, but he fell back there to 4th. So, yeah, I don't know if he missed his stall, maybe a choice of taking tires or fuel of a certain amount. Whatever factored into it, though, unfortunately has hindered Blake Kennedy of that lead. As right now, as it stands, if Aiden Oxidine stays a lap down, Ethan Workman is eliminated from championship contention. So Workman is hoping Oxidine gets that lap back here. As pace truck lights will go out, and we will be 1 to green this time by, folks. 22 of 100 laps into this thing. That was some pretty intense racing early on, but it single filed out for a little bit. So hopefully these guys can get another good long run in, and we can see some good action here. And as I mentioned, it's been a long season. It's been a good season though. You know, but between the highs, between the lows, ultimately we made it to the championship race. That's always a positive. Not many leagues can make it through 1 or 2 races, and that race at Phoenix was a really good indicator of how Ethan Harrison was able to kind of stand up to what had happened. Of course, that was a little bit of a rough race, but that's not a knock on Harrison. Obviously, he came back, kept working on it. You know, he didn't let that deter him from running this league, and ultimately, as a race director, he's done a fantastic job this season. Just keeping the league together, keeping the cars on track, and like I said, it's always an accomplishment when a league makes it from start to finish, all the way to the championship race in a season. It shows that the race directors had enough passion and put everything they could into it to try to keep this thing going. As 2x2 here through the restart zone, Josh Patterson will fire off, and a great restart for Ethan Harrison, as Garrett White and Blake Kennedy did not really fire off well either. That is huge for Blake Kennedy. He is the guy who's second in points with honestly the best scenario here to try to win that championship, and he is going to fall. He's back to about 5th now, but it looks like he might fall quite a few positions here if that outside line doesn't have anybody behind him. And Josh Patterson, he's going to get a bonus point here for leading a lap. That is huge for Kennedy, as he needs Patterson to get out of the lead quickly here. Garrett White looks to the outside of Harrison, almost makes contact there with Harrison's right rear tire. I was very close between the 77 and the 26. Of course, the 26 very aggressive, the O2 very aggressive. The 77, he's not as aggressive, and honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing that he's not as aggressive. Wheel to wheel right here. Garrett White, he's gotten to the side pod of Ethan Harrison. Like I said, Ethan, he's not typically very aggressive. Garrett White and Josh Patterson, however, are probably the 2 most aggressive drivers in this field, so he's in a little bit of an aggressive sandwich right now. And good job by Harrison, though, keeping it on track there, despite Garrett White slamming his side pod there. as these guys wrap around 1/4 of the way through the final race here in the GGR Organized IndyCar Series season. As looks like Blake Kennedy was able to rebound to 5th place here in line. Unfortunately, though, that's not the lead. And with Josh Patterson in the lead, not only did he get a bonus point for leading a lap, but now Patterson's going to have a good chance to try to lead the most laps in this thing, which is another bonus point. So really, Kennedy is he's praying that O2 car finds himself in some trouble here. Ethan Workman in 4th, he's also hoping for the same thing, as Aiden Oxenden is still on pit road. He is 5 laps down, so I mean, Ethan Workman, he's hoping for pretty much a retirement here, as it looks like Ethan Harrison has jumped out of line. Didn't like what he was seeing up there. Honestly, I don't really blame him after what we saw in the front stretch with Garrett White. A little close call there between the 77 and the 26, so Ethan Harrison might be very intelligently backing off, dropping to the outside. He'll probably try to file in line here behind that 12 car of Ryan Lochte and see what happens. Garrett White now below the apron for a moment there, and I don't know if you noticed, but the way the banking is on the back straightaway, Garrett White's right front tire was above the ground. I mean, he had that thing like a foot in the air. That was very interesting to see. I didn't think that would happen. Wow. All right. Looking good so far, though. These guys keeping it clean for the most part, and that's what you like to see out of these guys. So that's really, honestly, probably what Ethan Harrison is looking for the most in terms of being a race director, is a clean race here. And man, it is a shuffle back here as an outside line slowly kind of formed there. Cannizzaro got to the outside of Kennedy. They're actually losing the top 3 here, as Dijon Hall's in line with Kennedy, so is Ryan Kane. Dijon Hall now jumps to the outside with Cannizzaro, back in line with Kennedy. Ryan Kane behind Dijon Hall. Looks like Ryan Lochte to the outside behind Cannizzaro, and Ethan Harrison's kind of tagging the back of this pack. So the top 3 have pulled away to about a half a second advantage here, and we'll see what kind of a move the 26 makes, because obviously he doesn't really have anything to race for besides the race victory here. So that 26 can really put the hammer down and try to get by the O2, but on a single file track like this, I mean, it's going to be hard to make the pass, but that's just the characteristics here of these Indy cars at Las Vegas. Obviously, we've had some good races here on the 1.5s. Texas was pretty solid. Homestead had some good racing. It's just, it's weird because all these tracks, you know, they're the same length, but the different variations of banking, the different ages of the pavement on the track. That's truly when iRacing becomes a simulator, because if it was like the NASCAR Heat video games, for instance, you know, all these tracks would probably be about the same, full throttle, running the bottom pretty much. I mean, it'd be the same thing at every track, and that's the good thing here about the iRacing.com simulation, is that these guys really do get a true simulation of these tracks, because from Texas to Vegas to Homestead, it's been a different animal for each 1.5. So these drivers obviously finding that out now, because I think Vegas has been the only one that's really been single file in terms of 1.5s. Iowa was sort of similar to this type of racing here. Except for Iowa, we had some issues with the white line there with Garrett White and Josh Patterson, both of them making some mistakes using that white line. So these guys 1-2 again. We'll see if those same mistakes are made. As right now, Garrett White, he pulled out for a moment to the right rear of Josh Patterson. He fits himself back in line. And that pack that was behind, that was a little shuffled out, they have caught back up to the top 3 with Ryan Kame running the top side there, as White, Patterson, Workman all in a line. Kennedy P4. I mean, you got 3 of your 4 championship contenders right there, with the 4th one not too far behind him in 6th, and he actually looked to appear to duck towards the inside of Dijon Hall for a moment, but looks like Harrison actually thought better of it, may have lifted out. Not sure if Hall's block kind of scared Harrison a little bit. I mean, as a championship contender, Harrison obviously is racing for the win, but we're on lap 36. He knows that he's got to make it to lap 100 to be able to win this thing. So wrecking the car right now would not be a smart idea. So smart on him to kind of just lift off a little bit and let the 10 do his thing for now. Unfortunately, Blake Kennedy, he is silently Actually, I mean, he may be pretty vocal about it, but he's definitely praying that the 26 gets by the O2 here to take away the lead because Patterson, he's roughly 5-6 laps away from taking the crown for most laps led in this event. That's huge. That's an even extra bonus point. Oh, Josh Patterson gets the apron. Patterson sliding to the inside wall. He's gonna cream the inside wall. He's stuck in the inside wall. Josh Patterson, your championship leader, has just wrecked himself on the apron. That puts him P13, folks. So things have opened up for Kennedy and Harrison. Unfortunately, Christian Visconti has officially retired, and that means Josh Patterson cannot finish worse than 14th position. So Ethan Workman is officially eliminated from championship contention here. However, Blake Kennedy, Ethan Harrison, a renowned group of drivers. Great duo. Currently teammates for the final time here for Outlaw Racing. Both of them trying to claim championships. Kennedy, his second in a GGR. Harrison, I believe this will be his first ever League Racing Championship throughout the entire iRacing service. So, I mean, big race for these two, and with Patterson making such a costly mistake, I think this is their best opportunity to capitalize. And Patterson, he didn't get the most laps led bonus point there, so I'm not sure if Workman, I believe, is still officially eliminated on those accounts. But right now, I mean, Kennedy and Harrison, this is going to be very entertaining to say the least. See how these guys can maneuver through the field. Ryan Lochte, he's in his debut race. We mentioned him as well as the 8. Both of those guys in their debut races. So, great job to Lochte right now. He's running top 5. Of course, the guy on his outside, he had his debut race last week at Auto Club, and he took the win in a very awesome fashion, making a last corner pass on Ethan Harrison through 3 and 4. So that was pretty cool. Last lap passes are always really cool, especially whether it's sim racing or real racing. You always got to enjoy those last lap passes here. And Garrett White and Ethan Workman, I mean, right now, if you're Kennedy and Harrison, I think you're just kind of patient and sit in line, but we're coming to halfway here, and that's going to be crucial. Josh Patterson is back out on the track here, 3 laps down. So Patterson, he's hoping for 3 cautions to get back on the lead lap. Harrison is okay with Patterson where he is now, because Harrison's scenario, if you remember, for Harrison to win this race, for him to win the championship, not only did he have to win this race, but Harrison also needed Patterson to finish P13, and so it's almost a little bit of a gift, if you will, that Patterson found himself in 13th after that mess. However, Dijon Hall just went straight to the wall. And as I said that, I think Ethan Harrison has lost his gift. No caution on the track. That wreck is off the racetrack. We'll see if Dijon Hall gets back to pit road. Looks like he's going to try to wheel that thing into pit road. But he's got to do so very quickly here. And Ethan Harrison, I mean, he had it perfect. Josh Patterson was 13th. Everyone else was on the lead lap. Everything was looking good. And now Dijon Hall wrecks. And Hall, he's 2 laps down already. Here comes Patterson. So if Hall goes 1 more lap down, he is... I mean, that really puts a damper on the championship run here for Ethan Harrison. So Dijon Hall doesn't look like he's getting a fast repair. I'm not sure if maybe he didn't have the fast repair checked off or what. But it looks like Patterson is going to easily move himself up into 12th. And that hurts Ethan Harrison a little bit here. And Harrison's dropping. Harrison is pitting. So it looks like we have our first pit stops of the day. Harrison looks like he's maybe trying to 50-50 this thing, as the other leaders come by, and looks like John Cannizzaro will find himself on pit road right there. And this is where Josh Patterson can really capitalize if he took fuel and tires when he was down on pit road. So far, Cannizzaro and Harrison, the only two cars to have pit. And Harrison is spending an awful lot of time on pit road. As Garrett White will come by and put him a second lap down. I believe Harrison may be serving a penalty. Yeah, Ethan Harrison, something happening here on pit road. And John Cannizzaro really close to the inside wall right there. Ethan Harrison, I mean, for a second there, it looked like he had everything. Blake Kennedy is past everyone coming on pit road. What a pit entry for Blake Kennedy, and so much going on at once right now. Harrison spending an awful lot of time on pit road. Kennedy, he just passed like 3 cars coming onto pit road. That was incredible. Josh Patterson, obviously, he wrecked. And if Kennedy can get off of pit road quickly here without a penalty, he's in the catbird seat here. As Harrison finally back out on track, but man, 2 laps down. He's on the same lap now as Josh Patterson, and that might... Oh, we got a wreck! Ethan Workman, he just backed it up the racetrack.
The yellow flag is out.
And spun it back on. Looks like they spun coming off of pit road. Check the work replay here. Workman spun out, hit the inside wall, reversed on the track. This looks very eerily similar to Josh Patterson's incident last week at Auto Club. I'm gonna pull up the replay one more time, see if we can get a little bit of a different look here. We're actually gonna pull up the Henry cam here. Fortunately, Henry is not here to commentate this one with me, so we're gonna pull up the Henry cam here. And so here's Ethan Workman coming off a pit, or excuse me, coming on a pit road. So we'll get through his pit stop here. Looks like he gets on, gets his 4 fresh tires and gas. He's coming off a pit road. Sounds like he downshifts almost, and then just rolls it back on the track. Like I said, eerily similar to the incident with Josh Patterson last week. And Patterson, he received a big penalty for that thing. So I'm not quite sure what Workman's gonna get out of that, but that will officially, I mean, yeah, Workman is done. Josh Patterson was the lucky dog, so that just hurts Ethan Harrison even more here, as Harrison's championship hopes slowly looking like they're coming to a close there. And unfortunately, that's just part of racing. It's about being mistake-free. And right now, Blake Kennedy, what a pit stop he had, passing several cars. And I mean, that caution actually kind of benefits him. Well, it benefits Kennedy and it doesn't. It's wild. I can't believe that pit road entry by Kennedy. That was absolutely insane. How he managed to pass as many people as he did without getting a penalty. Just some Garrett White and Ethan Workman, the 2 cars that were in front of him, I believe. It just seems like they didn't get in there as hot as Kennedy did, and man, we'll see how this pays off for the 75, as obviously he's getting these laps led, and that'll help him towards getting the most laps led in this thing. Remember, he led the first 20, so... Has 75. Definitely giving it all he has here for Outlaw Racing here in his final race. Of course, with Kennedy, he's in a situation where it might not officially be his final race with Outlaw Racing, of course, maybe down the line. But for now, Kennedy has decided he just he wants to break from like a team scenario, and so he's going to start running races with Ryan Lochte in that 12, as they are actually good friends in real life. So looks like Kennedy has himself a brethren, if you will, in that 75 machine, and looks like Christian Visconti not actually retired from the race, just 16 laps down. So I mean, this kind of reinstates Ethan Workman back into the championship fight. Unfortunately, he's 3 laps down, and Josh Patterson is still on track. He needs Josh Patterson to wreck himself right here, pretty much, and finish dead last. So suddenly, Christian Visconti pulls the car out of the garage, and Workman's not eliminated from the that championship anymore. But we should be seeing the one to go this time by. Looks like Canizaro's pulling down a pit road, so maybe we will see a 2 to green. Still, looks like Garrett White is gonna pull down pit road as well. And Kennedy's on the apron. White and Canizaro fake out for whatever reason. Noah Janinda, he's a newer guy. Yeah, he's running P4 here tonight. Ryan Lochte, as I mentioned, his first race P5. Ryan Kame having himself a solid run, P6 in that 21. Aaron Giffen having himself a solid run. We saw early on something happen. He fell a lap down. He's recovered his way up into P7 though, so good run for him. Running top 10 tonight. Ultimately, the race for Ethan Harrison not over yet. He's got a mountain to climb, and so does Ethan Workman now. So Blake Kennedy in the catbird seat right now as it stands. Remember that scenario. Kennedy needed to win with Patterson finishing P10 or worse. I've got news, guys. Josh Patterson, he's back on the lead lap, but he's lining himself up P10. So that mistake early on from Patterson, leading this race, cost him a few laps. He's kind of benefiting though from from that caution we got. And we'll see what happens with Kennedy here. As all he can do is pretty much hold his position and pray that something happens to Patterson. And his pitch trick lights are out. They're going to start to bunch together here. Noah Janinda kind of laying back here in that 6 car. I wonder if race control will get on to him about it. He's a whole car length back on the 26 there, and that's going to cause some restart problems perhaps. Looks like Janinda's going to file himself in line. I'm not too sure about that one. Maybe they'll let it go. I mean, it doesn't hurt the restart too much, but something that might be looked at here post-race. Canizaro finds himself into P2. Garrett White third. Looks like Josh Patterson has moved himself into 9th. So currently as it stands, looks like he would be the champion. As Dijon Hall back on track, 7 laps down. And, oh, wow. Blake Kennedy just went around, kept it off the wall. Canizaro's around, and Kennedy has some smoke coming out of that car. I have no idea what happened. He kept it off the wall. Yeah, he's flying down pit road here. We're gonna pull up the work replay, see what happened with Kennedy, as we caught the tail end of that incident. It felt like. So here they are. This is coming down the front straightaway, so we're gonna see what led up to this. Looks like maybe Canizaro, see if he got like a really good run on Kennedy. Maybe made some contact. So through the corner they went. Canizaro wing to wing with Kennedy, and looks like Kennedy got loose in front of Canizaro. Canizaro netcoded through him, got the wall. Great job by Kennedy to keep it off the wall, but somehow he blew up. I'm not sure. Maybe he downshifted by accident. There's a few possibilities of what may have happened. I'm not sure how the engine blew. That's why my assumption might be that he downshifted, especially the way that he got loose suddenly. But Kennedy luckily got down pit road to take that fast repair, and John Canizaro, he was running pretty well. He's got to be frustrated. He's going to park that thing and tow it to the garage, and we'll see if he hangs around. Looks like he's out of the race. So that might re-eliminate Ethan Workman from championship contention here. Josh Patterson, he is benefiting a lot tonight. I mean, he had it decently easy. I mean, he didn't have it completely locked up coming in here, but he had it fairly easy. compared to like what would have happened in maybe like a playoff situation. But Kennedy and Harrison, I mean, they each put up a good fight. Workman did too, especially when Patterson made his mistake. They really did their best to try to capitalize on it, but unfortunately, every championship driver tonight seems to have made a mistake. Harrison looked like he had a pit road issue. Patterson and Kennedy both looked like they appeared to have wrecked themselves. Getting on that apron there on the back straightaway. And Ethan Workman, obviously, he was the cause of the last, not this caution, but obviously the caution before, coming off a pit road. So, like I said, these guys, all four of those championship drivers have made mistakes, and that's what happens when you have kind of a high pressure situation like this. Is Garrett White once again tries to fake down pit road. Tonight's weather looking pretty good. 65 degrees outside, nice and cool. 66-degree track temps, 7-mile-an-hour wind speeds, partly cloudy skies. Beautiful nighttime here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Of course, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's actually pretty much on the outskirts of the city of Las Vegas. 1.5-mile track, 4 turns at an altitude of 1,955 feet. Backed up to the Air Force Base out there. I don't remember the name of it, but it's pretty cool out there. It's pretty much backed up to the Air Force Base, which is backed up to the mountains. So it's a pretty cool situation out there at Las Vegas. It's one of the I'd say it's one of the better motorsports facilities in the country, at least. They have, of course, the 1.5 mile. Yeah, English is hard. The 1.5 mile oval. I kept trying to say mile an hour. Don't know why. That 1.5 mile oval that they're racing on now, they have a couple infield road course configurations. They have road courses outside of the racetrack. They have a Legends oval in the middle. Let's see, they have a dirt track that's out in the parking lot. They have a drag strip. It's a giant facility. It's a very nice facility, though. That's like I said, one of America's premier motorsports facilities if you consider the entirety of it. I'd say Las Vegas, and then Texas maybe. Texas has a pretty solid facility as well. Looks like Garrett White, he's gonna drop down pit road here. So that'll put Noah Janinda in the lead. We haven't talked much about him. He was there for Nashville. Unfortunately, I didn't get to put a lap down due to whatever was going on. And Janinda, he raced the GGR special event that was unbroadcasted. That was Street Stocks at Martinsville. That was a few weeks ago. About 2-3 weeks ago. So Janinda, he's been here. He's made his debut for sure. Just nothing spectacular. Of course, it doesn't seem to be much of his fault. So Ryan Lochte, in his first race, he's second. Aaron Giffen is third. I'm not sure. Ryan Kame ended up fourth somehow. Maybe passed a couple guys under caution or something. Aaron Giffen is third. Great run for him in that 9 car. And obviously, he's got 3 Outlaw Racing teammates that were in that championship hunt entering tonight with Workman and Kennedy. Obviously, I mentioned both of them in their final races for Outlaw Racing. And Harrison, hey, he's an Outlaw Racing for life guy. Don't tell him I said that. Aaron Giffen, so he's also part of the Outlaw Racing group. He's having himself a good run. Ryan came fourth. And Josh Patterson, he's had an up and down day for sure. From being last to being the leader to, well, being last again. So we'll see what happens here on this restart. Noah Janinda fires off, and it looks like Lochte and Giffen were not ready for it. And we'll see what happens here. Looks like Lochte will clear Giffen. And we'll see what happens now between the 12 and the 9 as Janinda fired off really well. Caught both second and third place sleeping. And that's always something you want to do on a normal restart. But, wow. I don't know. I mean, the way these cars draft, I don't think Janinda has that lead for long. Look at how big that lead is. That's a 2-3 car length lead. Lochte, Giffen, Patterson, Sharps rounding out the top 5. Looks like Ryan Kame trying to make a move to the top side here. And unsuccessfully, he's going to drop position here to Ethan Workman. Workman is a few laps down. The next car on the lead lap is Blake Kennedy, and I believe Kame will get back down in line before he gets there. As we have a train of cars behind Aaron Giffen here, he's slowly reeling in the leaders here as Lochte reeled in Janinda. And we'll see what happens here with Ryan Lochte and Noah Janinda, 2 guys we don't see or hear much about Obviously, because they've made limited starts compared to the rest of the field. Aaron Giffen, he's up there. He's got himself a huge run to the rear wing of Ryan Lochte. And how about this, folks? What if one of these three won? That'd be a way to end the GGR season here as Josh Patterson gets shuffled out of line by the laps down Ethan Workman. And Workman might not feel too kindly about letting Giffen, Lochte, or Sharps win this thing. As Giffen gets out of line, gets back in line, and Workman, he's teammates with Giffen for this last race, but we'll see how nice they race each other here as Lochte goes to the top side here. We'll see what Giffen does. Giffen follows in line, and that'll move Lochte to the top side. He will not have anything working for him there, and Aaron Giffen is up in a second. This is the highest I think we've seen him run most of the season. Ryan Lochte actually made the top side work. What a run he got as he got his right sides up to the wall there, coming off of 4, and that actually really benefit him there. And we'll see the run they get here. Giffen in line with Janinda. Looks like a little bit of a network issue there. Might stack up the inside line just a tad. As Janinda wiggles on the inside line, side by side here with Ryan Lochte. Lochte doing a great job holding his ground in that 12 car on the outside. As we haven't seen much of Ryan Lochte here. Aaron Giffen peeks to the inside of Janinda for a moment there. Looks like Janinda moved up to the middle. Maybe to side draft or something. Looks like Giffen's going to bounce off the white line now for a moment. He's going to dip back into the inside line. And Ethan Workman probably giving Giffen a lot of room right here as these guys are side by side. And if you're that 9 car, you're really antsy because you're up here in this mix too. And he's just waiting for that 6 car to make a mistake and get out of line here on the bottom. As Giffen goes towards the middle a little bit, he kind of gets a little bit of arc in his corner. And looks like Lochte's magic on the top side slowly fading away. And we got a lap car down there. Looks like that might be the 8 car. So keep an eye out here as Ryan Lochte still working the top side here. He's going to get another run back on Noah Janinda. And that 12. He's working the outside better than I've seen anyone else do it tonight. Very impressive run out of the 12. And the 13 kind of wiggled right there, Ethan Workman. I'm not sure if maybe he got too much of the apron or what, but it caused the 12 to kind of bounce out of line a little bit there. Giffen now moves up in the corner. And Giffen, he's not really getting the entries into the corner that he's looking for. It looks like he's kind of going a little straight there, having to really correct himself as he jumps up about half lane to a lane on his entries the past few laps. And you see it once again right there. He's actually losing some ground to Janinda. Lochte wanted back on the inside for a moment there. Won't get it. It looks like a little bit of contact there between Workman and Giffen. Ethan Harrison has now gotten to the outside. He's multiple laps down. Harrison is trying to get his laps back, and he and Workman are fighting for that lucky dog right now. Garrett White is a lap down as well, so this is really interesting how this is shaping out here. Ryan Lochte unfortunately gets forced 3 wide by Ethan Harrison. Harrison is a lap down. He's going to get in line in front of his Outlaw Racing teammate. Now he's going back to the top side. Oh, Giffen gets hit by Workman. Looks like he's going to save it. We'll see if he pulls back out on track before getting a pit road. Great save by the 9. No, Janinda's down pit road. Anthony Sharps to the lead. So much is happening at one time. Somehow Anthony Sharps got to the lead. Ryan Kame is second. Ryan Lochte is still third, and Workman and Harrison are side by side in front of these guys as lap cars. Harrison is actually back on the lead lap for the moment here. And now Anthony Sharps, he is the leader, but Ryan Lochte, he's got draft on that outside, and he might be able to make that outside line work. And we have Lochte and Sharps going at it. Can we see back-to-back guys making their debuts win GGR to end out the season? Can we see Ryan Kame in that 21 car? I mean, we all know the story of him back at Indianapolis. He did not make many friends there, including one specific enemy in Paul Granada. But that 21 would probably shut up Paul Granada pretty quickly here if he takes a win here. And he's going to the top side here with Ryan Lochte. And don't look now, but Blake Kennedy, he's moved himself back up into 4th. Lots of chaos here, 2 by 2. Down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. And I'm not entirely sure, but I believe if we go green the rest of the way, there might be another set of green flag pit stops. So this could get very, very dicey here, folks. And I am all for it here. As down the back straightaway, wheel to wheel, Harrison and Workman, the two Ethans, the Ethan and Ethan show. They've put it on this season time and time again, whether it be for the lead or, well, currently just for fun, it seems like, as these guys aren't even on the same lap. Ryan Lochte looked like he wanted back in line for a moment. Thought better of it, jumped back outside. Looks like he's going to get in line now in front of Ryan Kame, and Ryan Kame will pull Blake Kennedy into the grasp here as Ethan Harrison, he looks like he's going to fall back on the top side as Workman has the draft of Garrett White in front of him, and these lap cars are playing a huge factor into the race winner here. Oh, big wreck! Anthony Sharps is around, and he's going to tag Christian Visconti. Wow, that was a crazy sequence of events there for the last 10-15 laps or so. So we'll see what happened here as we saw them catching Garrett White. That's what I panned to here. So not sure if maybe Sharps tagged him. Looks like Harrison got back in line with Sharps. And we'll see what happened here with the 92. Looks like the 92 just wiggled off exit. He hit Harrison, spun around, and then tagged Visconti. So a little bit of an outlaw racing takeout there for that 92, of course unintentionally, but just some hard racing. And unfortunately on that top side, maybe some worn tires came into effect. And the 92 got loose, and looks like Ryan Lochte, he is slow on the front straightaway. Not particularly sure why. Ryan Kame would lead everyone down to pit road, and we'll see what kind of a pit stop he gets and what kind of pit stop these two get, Kennedy and Patterson. Kennedy missed his pit box, so did Patterson. Ryan Kame will come off of pit road. Looks like Kennedy will come off ahead of Patterson, as I don't believe those two took tires. Looks like Patterson is taking tires here, as I saw that car lift up in the air a little bit there. So Patterson is going to drop some positions here. Aaron Giffen, he's going to get himself a little bit lucky there after having to make that crazy save battling for the lead. Giffen will find himself in 5th. Of course, in this situation, Giffen had a wide open opportunity to go for the lead. Now he has his teammate running 3rd in front of him, and this guy needs to win the race to try to have any sort of shot at that championship. So we'll see how nice the 9 car plays with the 75. Does that first win mean more than... I mean, Kennedy's not your teammate after this race. So, I mean, does it really matter? I don't know, man. We'll see the 9 stop process here. We'll see how hard the 75 plays some defense. But Ryan Lochte, Ryan Kame, it's a Ryan and Ryan front... Well, it was a Ryan and Ryan front row. Ryan Lochte's going to come down pit road. Unfortunately, Ethan Harrison looks like he suffered too much damage there, and I believe this will put him out of the championship contention officially. So Workman and Harrison no longer gunning for that championship here, and those guys gave it their all season long. Workman won several races. Harrison's taking that faster pair, but he's 4 laps down, so he very unlikely will even get back on the lead lap. But there's 12 cars left in the event, as John Cannizzaro and Dijon Hall have both retired. Aiden Oxidine is 35 laps down, which means he's too many laps down to pass Josh Patterson. And Patterson needed to finish 13th or worse. The lowest he can finish is 12th here, as the 8 car is on track 14 laps down with some heavy damage there. Christian Visconti looks like he will come off a pit road. Looks like he'll use that fast repair. I'm not really sure what happened earlier on when he had to disconnect for a little bit, but that 80 car looks like he actually gets a wave around. Possibly, he's honestly probably the lucky dog, because he maybe it was like a netcode contact of sorts that occurred there between him bouncing off the wall and between Anthony Sharps. But it's been a fantastic race so far, I will say that. I liked Auto Club last week. That was fun to watch, fun to broadcast, and glad that we could run it back one more time here at Las Vegas. And this almost feels like a race with an underdog winner. I mean, the past, 15, 20 laps, we have Ryan Kame leading now. We've had Ryan Lochte up in the front, Noah Janinda, Aaron Giffen. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think it'd be really cool to see one of those guys win. So, I mean, Lochte is back in P6. I mean, even Anthony Sharps, he was on that playoff scenario or excuse me, point scenario sheet, but he hasn't won a race yet this season. It'd be cool to see that 92 get a win. So Kennedy, he won back at Phoenix in that 75 machine. He's got himself a win on the season. Patterson obviously in 5th. He's your championship leader. He's won the most races this season. That 02 in his final race for Nova Sim Racing. He's done himself a good job, and honestly, the odds are ever increasingly in his favor as this race continues on, and he's already knocked out every championship contender besides that 75, and that 75 is hoping for the 02 to make a big mistake and find himself falling back to 10th. But only 9 cars on the lead lap here. It's going to be tough for the 75 to fulfill championship opportunities here. As Ryan Kane bunches the field up, he'll fire off. Great restart for the 21 as he'll lead them to the green here. And behind them looks like Aaron Giffen will file himself in line in front of Josh Patterson. And Kennedy looks like he'll lift and get behind Noah Janinda perhaps. No, he's going to stay to the outside here down the back straightaway. Interesting tactic by the 75. We'll see how it pays off. 20 laps to go in this thing. And 100 laps, 150 miles. A lot of racing here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's exactly what these guys are looking for. They got to make it to the 100th lap here. And 82 in. We have guys like Ryan Kame and Noah Janinda 1 and 2. This is going to come down to an incredible finish here if this one goes green. Or, I mean, I don't even know if it needs to go green. We just need these guys to not wreck. I mean, I think what would make this the most entertaining is if that 02 car finds himself wrecked. Aaron Giffen gets forced out of line by the 02 car. And Giffen's going to be put 3 wide here. So he's going to have to work his way back through traffic. As Kennedy behind Janinda. Josh Patterson, he has his sights set on that 75. As long as he can see the 75, he knows it's crucial that he keeps his car in that position. So Patterson, he's just looking to clinch this thing. Remember, with a 5th or better, no matter what, he clinches it. So right now, he's actually going to go to the top side here. You saw Ethan Workman coming behind him. Maybe didn't want to deal with that 13. Is that 13 now? He's eliminated from the championship run. He's just going for the win. He's got Garrett White behind him, but still leading this thing is the 21 of Ryan Kame, much to the demise of Paul Granada, who couldn't even be here because of a suspension. He definitely probably doesn't like seeing that 21 leading, but you gotta love a good rivalry, and we've had quite a few of them on track and off track this season. And it all boiled down right here to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Obviously, it's nestled pretty deep in the desert. Lots of 100-degree days throughout the year, and I guess it makes it a good place for some racing because race car drivers they can get pretty heated, whether it be real life or on iRacing. You wouldn't believe how angry some of these guys get. So. Ultimately, all that heat just kind of boils down to Las Vegas. I don't know. Some sort of connection there maybe, but Ryan Kame still continuing the lead here over Noah Janinda with 14 laps to go in this thing. And coming up here on lap 88, kind of a cool lap to look back on if you're a sports fan. You know about the loss of Demarius Thomas, future Hall of Fame wide receiver. He passed away last Thursday night. He wore 88 in the NFL, so good lap to kind of commemorate him. Las Vegas and GGR, traditionally a memorial race. No memorial this year, but with the passing of Demarius Thomas, I feel it's a little cool to bring him up and remind everyone of him here on lap 88 as Ryan Kame leads this thing here. Still 12 laps to go. The 21 in prime position to win his first career GGR Oregon Diecast Indycar Series race. Blake Kennedy gets shuffled out of line by Garrett White. This is huge for the championship here. Josh Patterson is back in 8th. He needs to drop 2 positions, and right now it's not looking likely here as Ethan Harrison is currently sitting 10th, a couple laps down. So Right now, Blake Kennedy, he's getting shuffled out of line. Ryan Lochte going to the top side now. He's the guy who we saw working that outside line to perfection earlier, keeping himself in the race for the lead. And we'll see how it works out here. Garrett White jumps to the top side now, back in line to third. And Garrett White, I mentioned his aggression. We'll see how aggressive he is here behind the 6 and the 21. Both looking for their first ever wins here in GGR. And it couldn't come at a better time than the Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series here. Make sure you go check out Oregon Diecast on Instagram at Oregon Diecast, OregonDiecast. 10 laps to go in this one. The 21 and the 6 leading this field here. Garrett White, though, a veteran of GGR. He's been here since the first season. I think he's been here since the first race, nevertheless. And he's made it known that he hasn't been a fan of Josh Patterson's driving style. And there it is. Garrett White makes contact with Janinda. Both of them save it. White on the apron. Here comes Blake Kennedy. What will Kennedy do? Cars are fanning out to the top side. 3-4 wide here. Going into the corner. Janinda still hanging on the outside. They're 3 wide with Harrison, Kennedy, and Lochte. Oh, Lochte comes down and hits Kennedy.
Caution, yellow flag.
Ryan Lochte's around. And that is not what Ryan Kane wanted to see. He pulled out to a pretty good lead. And he definitely does not want Garrett A. White behind him. We'll check the WARC replay here. See what exactly happened with Lochte. So this was up front. White and Janinda made contact. Both of them got sideways. Great job by both of them for saving that thing. So that was the first incident. As you see here, Harrison fanned out to the wall. That put these guys 3 wide in the corner. And I believe Lochte may have just come down on Kennedy there and ran himself out of room. Yeah, Lochte just kind of comes down on Kennedy. Unfortunately, Ethan Harrison will take a tumble. And wow. Ethan Harrison just got launched into the grandstands. Thankfully, this is virtual racing, so not really any harm there, just a few good laughs. And yeah, Ethan Harrison, he's down to the race for sure. Ryan Lochte multiple laps down. Ethan Workman, somehow he ended up a lap down in all that process there. The big name here, I think that's that 21 of Ryan Kame. He's been commanding the field here the past 10 laps or so, and now he's in a good position to win this thing. And at first, when that caution came out, he had a 3/10 lead. I thought, oh man, he didn't want to see that caution. He had a big lead. And then suddenly I thought, well, the way that 26 just moved the 6 car, I don't know if I would have wanted him behind me on green flag conditions. So Ryan Kame is just gonna have to hope that he can get that that hand out the left side and try to signal Noah Janinda for when he's going, because that 26 gets in line behind Ryan Kame. I don't quite think Kame hangs on to this one. Just knowing the aggressiveness of Garrett White, and it's the last race of the season, $10 on the line to win, and of course so much more for these guys trying to go for their first career wins, trying to end the season on a good note, heading into the off season. I mean, there's a lot of factors here besides that $10 that would make a win so special. And Ryan Kame, I mean, he's been here all season long. Didn't quite make a playoff run. He's had his ups and downs, of course, as I brought up earlier. Everyone kind of remembers the Indianapolis restart where Ryan Kame took a gamble and stayed out on some fairly old tires. And ultimately, that was a good show. Ryan Ayers came home with the win over Josh Patterson in a fantastic fashion, as Ayers was able to power around the outside. But we all know Ryan Kame and Paul Granada. After that, they had a little bit of a rivalry. They went to the next week. I want to say it was Chicagoland. And at the end of the race, you could see the 21 and the 04 wrecking each other post-race. So Ryan Kame obviously has gotten the better end of that rivalry, since Granada is suspended for the rest of the season alongside his teammate Jay Mulder. And Jay Mulder, shortly after that race, announced he was leaving Nova Sim Racing. He's actually going to be joining Outlaw Racing once Blake Kennedy and Ethan Workman finish out their 10 years there. So Jay Mulder will join that squad. And that'll be interesting. Ethan Harrison, Christian Visconti, Jay Mulder. Should be a solid trio of drivers there. Of course, they got Henry Clapper and Aaron Giffen as well. But Jay Muller, he's a pretty big hitter. Of course, in some Work TV lore, if you will, in terms of Work itself, Jay Mulder, he is known for not winning in Work. He can win in every other league. He's got multiple wins here in GGR, but he's never won a Work race. So obviously that league plays into things. GGR plays into things. There's some other leagues as well, such as Knock, T4RL, several leagues out there that these guys race are the same team in. So it'll be interesting to see if Jay Mulder can maybe get that work win and get it with Outlaw Racing. But I like the team situation. You got lots of different teams. Obviously, I've mentioned Nova. Losing Josh Patterson and Jay Mulder, that's huge. Matthew McDonald, he's on Nova Sim Racing now. They got a couple other guys too, like Cole Woody, Joe Berge. So Nova Sim Racing kind of alive and kicking there. Dark Horse Racing, they had a playoff driver in Justin Haley in this league. Unfortunately, things didn't play into Haley's schedule, and he was unable to truly make a championship run. But of course, my good normal co-commentator, Quentin Haley, a good buddy of mine, he and I were on Dark Horse Racing as well. Ryan Ayers, I mentioned him winning that Indianapolis race we were talking about. He's on Dark Horse Racing. Kaz Gralla. So that's a pretty solid team. Uh, let's see what other teams do we got here. Honestly, I'd say those are probably the three biggest teams for this league. We have Whiteout Sim Race. That's a new team kind of coming up here. That's Garrett White, Hunter Fox. That's where Ethan Workman is going after he leaves Outlaw Racing. I want to say Dimitri Mundros is on that team. Jaden Carter. I want to say that's their roster. So Whiteout Sim Racing, pretty solid team. Bill Kennedy, Ryan Lockey, they're a duo, starting with the future. So I think that covers most of the teams here. Not really sure the team situation GGR besides any of those. I think those are the only ones running, but we've covered that Nova Outlaw rivalry all season long, and hopefully that only grows to be stronger here, but the focus isn't on teams anymore here. It's going to be on this restart here as Pace Truck fires off and Garrett White jumps the restart.
Green, green, green.
Garrett White might get a penalty for that. He jumped the restart. That stacked things up. I would watch race control here, because that got him back in line. That actually really hurt Blake Kennedy and Noah Janenda because they weren't firing. And great maturity there by Ryan Kane, but I would watch race control here, see if Ethan Harrison gives a penalty to Garrett White for that one. Because, yeah, he kind of jumped it and then braked and jumped in line, and that kind of messed up that entire restart. So we'll see if White is allowed to finish this race off here. And for now, nothing being done on race control from what I can tell. So Ryan Kane will still lead this thing here as Garrett White straddles the white line with 2 laps to go. Coming to the white flag. Blake Kennedy lines up in 4th. Josh Patterson has the championship all but locked up here. White flag, the final lap here of Season 3 of the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. Every single race has come down to this one, and we have Ryan Kane trying to defend Garrett White for the race win here. Ryan Kane gets a little bit of the apron there on the back straightaway. I don't think Garrett White has enough in him to take the win away. Through 3 and 4. What will happen here? The 21's going to come off of turn 4. Nobody's going to pass him. Ryan Kane, first career win here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series in the GGR Championship finale at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And on top of that, with Blake Kennedy's 4th place finish, Josh Patterson in the O2 is your Season 3 GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series champion. How about that? Ryan Kane, first career win. Looks like he's getting some congratulations. Unfortunately, looks like he just got wrecked getting those congratulations. So those burnout picks are going to have a little bit of damage on him. Ryan Kane, what a run for him. First career GGR win. And Josh Patterson obviously coming home as the champion. As these two will probably do some sort of dual burnouts together, as Patterson had that mistake early on while leading and was kind of a quiet night for that O2, but Blake Kennedy unfortunately just couldn't quite finish that off in P1. And that'll end his championship run. But Ryan Kane, he's going to burn it down real quick. First ever league race win on iRacing for the driver of the 21. Josh Patterson, he's going to burn it down as your champion. Wow. What a season it's been here. You see they're going to go nose to nose. And I don't know how the nose to nose works in the IndyCars. It doesn't seem like it works too well, but man, what a season for Patterson and a great run to the end here for Ryan Kame. He held off one of the better drivers here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. Well, maybe I don't know. I mean, better. I'd say Garrett White. He's one of the top drivers here in the series. Aggressive for sure. And Kane was able to hold on for it. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here with post-race interviews with your champion, as well as first place, second place, third place, and we're going to try to see if we can get Blake Kennedy and Ethan Harrison up here as well, folks.
The field is rolling on the back straightaway.
Get ready. This is going to be tight. Out of turn 4, ladies and gentlemen. The All-American 400 is underway.
Gotta be careful. The bumps here can get you every time. Entering the corner, exiting the corner.
Alright, folks, sorry about the little bit of a delay coming back there. Was double checking, making sure we have everything set up. It's official. Ryan Kame is your winner here, and we're going to try to pull him into the booth here for his first career win. It's going to be a long night of interviews here, folks. Stay tuned as quick as you can, or as long as you can, sorry. Anyways, nevertheless, without further ado, Ryan Kame, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Ryan, it was an interesting finish there. You found yourself up in front after a few cautions, and obviously after about 80 or so laps. Here in your Make-A-Wish Canada number 21 Honda. I think I don't know if this car is actually a Honda on the game, but nevertheless, ultimately you were able to come by and get your first ever GGR win here in the finale. Run me through that last restart. I know you kind of had control of the race for a little bit there at the end, but you have Garrett White behind you. He's known for his aggressive style of driving, and I mean, he definitely put a lot of pressure on you. How did you maintain your composure here to hold on to the win?
No, I actually screwed up that restart there. I was trying to get going early, so I didn't get hit from behind on the restart, and I went a little too early, and the pace truck was still there, so I kind of had to halt myself just a little bit. But then once we got going, everything went fine. The thing was is that me and Garrett were talking with each other throughout the race, and he and I made a deal where he wouldn't wreck me or do anything stupid. So he kind of helped me to this win, and I got to thank him for that.
Well, for sure. At first, honestly, I thought Garrett jumped the restart. I didn't really see a fire off, but that would definitely explain that whole situation there. That explains why Garrett wouldn't get a penalty and all that. I was wondering if race control would penalize it. I'm sure they were definitely looking at it to say the least. But that clears things up for sure. Um, Getting the lead though, I mean, a single file track like that, especially now that you mentioned you had Garrett helping you. Do you think all that kind of correlated and made things easier to pull off this win then, or I mean, do you still think you had to fight for it a little bit, despite the way the track kind of drove, and knowing that you had a friend behind you?
I mean, I think it was a lot more simple when you have someone that will help you, and the fact that it was a single file track. And I think that really played to my advantage, and I think it would play to anyone's advantage as a leader. But I think that you still do have some degree of difficulty because gotta make a lot of smart moves. You can't make any stupid mistakes. You can't hit that apron. You can't move up the track. If you do any of those, that's gonna end your hopes. So I mean, you gotta just run your perfect line and hope for the best. And luckily, that was what saved me.
All right, Ryan. Well, congratulations, buddy. First career win here in the GGR Oregon Diecast Indycar Series. It took 14 races of the season, but you came out here and it wasn't like a last lap pass or anything. Definitely had to fight off a few guys to earn it. 23 laps led tonight. Before we let you go, Ryan, do you have anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, like I said, I want to thank Garrett. He helped me out through that race. I want to just give a shout out to Josh, the champion. He did a great job this season. I want to thank Ethan Harrison for putting on the show, and I want to congratulate him, Ethan Workman, and Blake Kennedy on their great seasons as well.
All right, Ryan. Well, once again, congratulations. First career win here, folks. If you're watching here in the YouTube chat, leave a congratulations for Ryan Kame. Getting that first one is always special, especially for a driver who's been here pretty much all season long. And it's always kind of a feel-good win to get that first ever win, especially on iRacing in general throughout any league race you've ever ran. That first league win always means something. So congratulations, Ryan. And here's to many more.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, that's Ryan Kame. He came home P1 tonight. We're going to try to find P2 here in the booth. That was Garrett White. Let's see if we can try to link up with the 26 here. Garrett, you're in the War TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, Garrett, at first I thought you sort of jumped that last restart. Sounds like things actually got shaken up, though, from the leader, Ryan Kame. Obviously, with that whole thing happening and restart situation getting screwed up there, uh, were you really going to try to put up a fight there for Ryan Kame? I mean, on a track that was a little more single file oriented, it was a little hard to pass and make moves. You really had to be kind of forceful with what you did. Um, did you think that you had any chance there, or do you think you may have needed like a longer run, try to get some wear in those tires and see if you can make a move on the 21?
Yeah, I think the only way that I was going to get by him is if he clipped the apron or something or make a mistake. And I can't get myself to run in the back of him or get him loose or something because it's Ryan and I have pity for him. But second place isn't bad, so we'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, obviously 15 laps led tonight, and it's been a pretty solid season for you. We've talked to you quite a bit here up in the Work TV booth here. You've been up front. You've led hundreds of laps here, I'd say, this season. I think that's a fair, educated guess here is that you've led hundreds of laps this season. You've definitely been one of the front runners. What are you looking forward to here in the future of GGR? Do you think that you have a chance at a championship run here?
Definitely, yeah. This season wasn't able to run all the races, and I think that cost us a chance to run for a title. So hopefully next year we can run more races and make the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens after that.
All right, Garrett. Well, nevertheless, still a great season out of you in that 26 machine, as we've seen you all season long up front for the most part. So, obviously, some good runs, some bad runs, some wrecks, some podiums, some interviews. Everything kind of came together for you this season. Before we let you go, buddy, do you have anybody you want to thank?
I just want to thank Ethan Harrison for the league this season. It was really fun. Enjoyed it. And also want to send a congratulations to Josh Patterson for the championship.
All right. Well, congratulations, Garrett, on P2 tonight. Hopefully, you can capitalize and make a championship run in the future.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys, it was Garrett A. White. He came home P2 tonight. We're going to move on to P3 on the night. That was Noah Janinda. First time we're going to be interviewing him here. Noah, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, Noah, first time talking to you here. You led 11 laps tonight, put yourself up towards the front here. You ultimately come home here with your first ever GGR podium. Running through those last few laps there, I know it kind of came down to a late race restart. The restart kind of, everything got jumbled up. Do you think that the jumble up on the restart may have ultimately had an impact on where you finished, or do you think you kind of may have just finished third anyways?
I mean, I've always been good at IndyCars on Las Vegas, so I knew I was going to be more of a front runner this week. I was leading good laps, and then something just got in with another driver, went off. I was just focused on my recovery. I wasn't really worried about starts. I was kind of worried about, just taking it one lap at a time.
Well, one lap at a time, you definitely for sure made an emphasis tonight on where you can run here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series, as you had a solid run tonight. coming home with your first ever podium. I asked a similar question to Garrett A. White. He's been here a little bit longer than you, but looking forward to the future of GGR. Do you think that maybe, now that I know you came kind of really late in the season, so do you think maybe there's a chance you can have like a championship run, put some effort in, and get some races run and see what happens?
I mean, for my first start at GGR, getting a podium, that definitely boosts your confidence going into, later seasons, later races, later sessions. So I definitely think I could be a contender for next season and whatever series that GGR runs.
Well, I'm hearing in the off season we're definitely gonna have a Jetta series for sure, so that might be a little fun one to run. I know Ethan is obsessed with those Jettas, so it's always a fun one to run. And I'm pretty sure, I'm hoping at least that the Indy cars will be back. So hopefully Work TV will be back as well for the Indy cars, and we can get you some more interviews. But before I let you go tonight, Noah, do you have anybody you want to thank?
Oh yeah, my dad getting me into racing about a year ago when we started quarantining. He's been on iRacing for years, and he just kind of showed me the ropes, and I wouldn't have learned anything that I knew how to drive tonight without him.
All right, well, it's always good to shout out your dad. Usually the parents fund a lot of the kids' iRacing, so it's always
Oh yeah,
somebody to be thankful for. But yeah, nevertheless, congratulations on your podium tonight. Noah started 12th, finished third, 11 laps led. Solid night for you here tonight. Let's see if you can capitalize in the future. Once again, congratulations on the podium, Noah. We'll see you around.
all right, thank you. I'll see you in a different interview.
All right, guys, that's Noah Janinda coming home P3 here. We got lots of first timers, first podium for Noah, first win for Ryan Kane, but the most important guy that we are going to talk to tonight is that of the O2 Josh Patterson. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion is here in the Work TV booth. Josh Patterson, do you have a copy?
Let's go!
I'm going to
Yeah,
assume that's a yes. Josh Patterson, folks, final race for Nova Sim Racing before he makes the transition to a brand new team that he's co-owning with Tyson Gifford at Limeade Media, Dynamo Racing, presented by Limeade Media. So good run for that O2 car. Man, oh man, you started on the pole, you were running good, you led 18 laps, you hit the apron, you spun to the inside wall, you were down like 3 laps, you got back on the lead lap, you charged back towards the front, you fell back to the back, ultimately you finished 7th, but you did what you had to do to get that championship. I know you definitely put yourself in a point situation that made it a little bit easier entering tonight, but was there still a little bit of stress there, especially after that wreck early on?
Um, going into the race, I had a good feeling that, I was going to be able to pull it off. I felt like I had enough of a points lead to where I could sort of play it safe the whole race, just get some bonus points early on, then fade back and sort of ride until the end. Um, which is what ended up happening. Just not exactly in the way I wanted it to. I got up to the front. I was like, well, screw it. I guess I'll try to lead as many laps as I could. And then I touched the apron, spun, got stuck in the wall. So yeah, as you said, fell 3 laps down. And then I think I got the luckiest breaks of all time as I got 2 laps back, or I got 2 laps back on their pit stops. I passed Blake for the lead, like to get down to 1 lap down, and then the caution came out, which meant I got the lucky dog to go back in the lead lap. So I went from being 3 laps down to on the lead lap in about 2 laps. So I don't know. Got lucky there, and then I was just communicating with the people around me to try to, hold on. There was a couple close wrecks towards the end, but yeah, ultimately I was just watching Blake because I knew that Ethan really couldn't do anything with the amount of cars left, and well, both Ethan's and Sharp's is out from the beginning. But yeah, I was watching Blake, and he was stuck in fourth, fifth, and I kind of knew if I could just ride, I knew he wouldn't be able to pass just because of how the track was and sticking on the bottom and everything. Because there was really no passing all race, but yeah, and it ended up working out beautifully, and here we are. Whew.
Well, here we are indeed. Uh, GGR champion, you're adding yourself to a list of names including Blake Kennedy and Bryce Armstrong. So you become the third ever champion to, well, ever be a champion in GGR. So congratulations to you as a driver and as a
Don't forget
future
about
team
my
owner.
Xbox championships.
We are ignoring those. This is iRacing. This is real racing, pure simulation here, folks. And that's why Blake Kennedy, I mean, he was going for his second GGR championship. I kept mentioning that off and on. So that would have been cool to see a multi-time champion already so early into GGR's legacy here on iRacing. But of course, new champions bring new opportunities for the league. Some sort of like IROC race or something, whatever Ethan has planned in the books. But nevertheless,
Shut us.
Josh Patterson, folks, champion. Josh, you're embarking on a new journey here with Tyson Gifford and Limeade Media. I've brought them up, of course, at the start of this interview. Dynamo Racing, powered by Limeade Media. What are you looking forward to, not just necessarily in GGR, but in leagues in general? What are you looking forward to being on a new team? I know you've been with Nova for years now, and obviously you and Paul Granado co-own the team. You were teammates with Jay Mulder. You've been teammates with several people. I was your teammate at one point, and then you didn't pay me money. You were teammates with
Word.
Matthew McDonald. You were teammates with, gosh, I
Ask the
don't even
question.
remember. I I asked the question. Just let me finish speaking. Um, what are you looking forward to with Dynamo Racing, powered by Limeade Media?
Well, I mean, first off, I just want to thank everybody throughout the years at Nova. Building that team from the ground up and then watching it fall back into the ground has been one heck of an experience. And, it's really fun. It's going to be really fun to see Paul, watch him try to build it from the ashes. Obviously, for a minute there, it was just me and him. And, he's brought on a bunch of young talent, and it's going to be fun to watch them thrive. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody from there for everything they've done, and making that really a nice home for me for the past couple of years. But this new journey with Tyson, this is going to be a fun one. It's going to be, I'm really excited to build another team up from the ground with my talent and his media personality. I think we'll be able to do a lot together, and I'm looking forward to when he actually gets iRacing, because I think we'll make a pretty good team on track. And I we brought on Christopher, Davian, and Ryan. So it's going to be fun to see them three develop on the team. It's just going to be a lot of fun to work with new people, get to experience, a wider range of just personalities in general. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the new experience and the new opportunity.
All right, Josh. Well, new experiences indeed, new opportunities, and tonight, for the final time as a Nova Sim Racing driver, who would you like to thank before we let you go?
Of course, I already said it. Everyone in Nova Sim Racing, Paul Granado, Jay Mulder, for helping me out this season in GGR, and just helping me get this championship, because they were with me all the way until they got banned. I gotta thank Dynamo Designs, iRacing Paints team starting at $5. Belfour Property Restoration, Vulture Racing Engines, Warp TV Broadcasting, the coveted Henry Cam, Keystone Corner, Patriot Clutches, EVC Automotive, Twitch iRacer 95, Limeade Media especially. I got to thank you for coming out here every week broadcasting for us. We've been through the good, the bad, and appreciate you sticking with the league for the whole time. And I appreciate Ethan for running this thing and giving us all the opportunity to come out here and race every Tuesday night in these IndyCars, random ovals that he can concoct. I really want to thank everybody the whole season and tonight for coming out. I know we saw a couple new faces tonight, so I appreciate them coming out. But really everybody all season for making this season what it was, and giving me such a great something to look forward to every Tuesday night. So yeah, just everybody involved.
All right, Josh. Well, not sure if Work TV will be coming back to the GGR, well, just GGR in general, but if we do, I'm sure there will be many, many more interviews with you up here in the booth. Until that time comes, though, the off-season hits. They've got a couple fun leagues planned up, so hopefully you get to celebrate your championship for a little bit. Congratulations once again on that, and we'll see you around, Josh.
All right, thanks a lot, Bryson. Hopefully see you soon.
All right, guys, that's Josh Patterson. And now we're going to go try to find Blake Kennedy here. Obviously, he finished 4th in tonight's event. Just a few spots shy of getting it done. Blake, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. You have a copy.
Yep.
Well, Blake, um, you led laps. You put yourself out front early. 24 laps led tonight altogether. At one point, you were in honestly a great position. Josh Patterson wrecked himself, fell laps down. You were leading the race. Unfortunately, that was like lap 30 and not lap 100. Um, Towards the end of that race, did you really think there was anything you could do to make that last run at the championship?
Um, I, everything was really out of my control this race. I definitely tried as hard as I could. Went out there and led the most laps. You know, first race all season, I kind of went out there and just decided to run up front, and it paid off pretty well. It's just too late in the season for that to happen. I don't know. I mean, I got moved there by Garrett with maybe I don't know, it was like 6 to go or something, and that kind of shuffled me back to P4 and it would have been P3. I've I felt like if I was lining up third there on that last restart, I would have had a better shot. But I can never really say for sure. It depends what second place was going to do too. So um, all in all, I just gave it my best and just came up short.
Well, honestly, P2, I know it's not something that drivers race for, of course, as a race car driver. You're always gunning for P1, but you've already been a GGR champion back in season 1. You're a champion in other leagues, multiple championships in other leagues, that is. I can't name them all, I can only name 2 of them, but your Work Mazda championship, your Work Skippy championship, obviously, as I mentioned, GGR season 1 championship. Is there any experiences you can take from this season, the first season of GGR with the IndyCars, that you might be able to use if the IndyCars return, or just in the future of GGR in general, in order to get that one extra position to come home a champion once again?
I just gotta race every race I race this one. Act like I'm behind in points, and it seemed like the payoff tonight. Um, I just can't be laying back like I have been, just anticipating a wreck to happen. I just got to go for it. So that's what I got to do in future seasons.
Well, ultimately P2, not a bad job, of course. It's been noted that that whole I've been following the team scene the whole season between Nova and Outlaw and sometimes Dark Horse and sometimes Whiteout Sim Racing. And unfortunately, I know your time with Outlaw Racing has come to a close. You're kind of going solo a little bit. Actually, it seems like you're going with a duo with Ryan Lochte, who we saw tonight be very competitive as well. So I guess it's the final time as a driver of one of those teams with Outlaw Racing that we'll be able to ask you who you want to thank tonight before we let you go.
Well, I mean, it was my final race at Outlaw Racing, technically, so I want to thank everyone there. Um, I've had a long tenure and I really enjoyed it. I want to thank you for broadcasting these 14 races. I know it definitely wasn't the easiest for you or any of us, but I'm glad you stuck in there. And want to thank Ethan and Tyson and uh, Q and Aaron and Christian, just and Nick as well for keeping GGR together this season. I think we really materialized something, had something progressing. So now into our little 5-week mini seasons. Hopefully we continue to progress and build something great here at GGR.
All right, Blake, absolutely. I'd say this was, from a guy who's seen all 3 seasons of GGR, I'd say this was very much a sign of improvement. And of course, there's always room to improve. So this, I would say, was a big step, and we'll see if another big step is taken here. Obviously, for the first time, GGR is going to run some fenders with the Jetta series, so that'll be fun. And whatever more is to come of GGR, I'm excited to see it. I'm sure you are as well, as an owner and driver of the series. So congratulations once again, Blake. Second in the championship, a long season. Pays off with a podium finish in the points. 4th place tonight, 24 laps led. Nothing really to be ashamed of. I know that you were gunning for that championship for sure. But once again, bud, congratulations, and we'll see you next season.
All right, thank you.
All right, folks, that was Blake Kennedy. I got to try to find Ethan Harrison here. On the timing and scoring screen, I believe he finished quite a bit back here. There it is, 11th place, Ethan Harrison. He had a rough run tonight. We're going to bring him into the booth here. Ethan, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I sure do.
Well, that was a very interesting race for you in that 77 machine. You came in, obviously, not with as good of a scenario as Blake. You needed Josh to finish 13th or lower in order to get that championship. Unfortunately, a couple cars retired, and that scenario kind of ended itself a little early on. You found yourself multiple laps down. You took a trip to the grandstands. That must have been pretty fun.
2 trips.
2 trips. I forgot about the I forgot about the first trip. You took multiple trips to the grandstands. All in all, I know you didn't quite have that run towards the championship that you were looking for tonight. I believe you actually finished fourth in the standings, but third or fourth. I'm not really sure where you finished, but
I don't know.
ultimately, did you at least have fun this season? I mean, you have a little bit of a bigger position. Not only are you a driver of the series, but you're the race director. You funded most of the series. I mean, all in all, put it all together, did you have fun this season?
Yes, the short answer to that is yes. I'm very glad of what I have put together this season, and I'm proud of the product that we delivered. Other than this final race, for some reason, in between our test sessions and today's race, iRacing decided to replace the middle groove with banana peels. So I don't know what happened there, but yeah, no, it's always been like a kind of dream of mine to have something like this. It feels like it's actually important. Like it is important to me, but like it feels like it's actually important to other people, and that's all I've really ever wanted, to just have somewhere some people can come and just be happy and have fun. And I think I've created that. And so of course there's some things we could work on, things we're going to build on during the off season, but we'll have that with any series. And so I'm ready to do what I have to do for the series and to get her going again.
Well, absolutely. Looking forward to the future. You've got a Jetta League announced. That sounds very exciting. For the first time, GGR is going to go points racing with some fenders on it. So I know that you personally are obsessed with those Jettas. That's your go-to car, it seems, on iRacing.
Yes.
So, what are you looking forward to with running a Jetta League, and just in general, what are you looking forward to here with the future of GGR?
Well, so we're gonna have in order to cover the time slot that this league covers. We're gonna have a Jetta series, 5 weeks, road courses, mostly rovals, and then on Wednesday nights we're gonna be introducing a super speedway series, and it will also be 5 weeks. It'll run with the Jetta series, obviously, and that'll be like our winter series off season kind of thing that we're gonna do for GGR. So hopefully we can bring in some new faces with that and kind of just give everyone something fun to do while we work out the whole IndyCar thing for next season.
All right,
I'm real
Ethan.
excited about that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of great plans on the horizon. So, back as a driver's perspective, though, not necessarily the finish you wanted tonight, but your trips to the grandstands looked fantastic.
Hmm.
Hopefully, you got some good vacation photos from those, and ultimately, a top five finish in the points this season. Looking back at your season, it honestly was a very, very good season. You and your teammates at Outlaw Racing brought home a lot of wins together as a squad, so that was fun. You guys battled with Nova Sim Racing all season long, battled with Josh especially for that championship. So ultimately, Ethan, congratulations on a great season overall. I know that as a driver, you're looking for that championship and you're looking for those race wins to pile up, but still, when you look at the big picture, great season by you. So congratulations to that. Before I let you go, buddy, do you have anybody you want to thank?
Well, like you said, I just want to thank Outlaw Racing for having me on their little team. It's a bunch of nice people over there. I want to thank Oregon Diecast and Aaron Giffen for coming along this season and sponsoring the series. I would like to thank all of our race sponsors throughout the season: Caleb Hall, Blake Kennedy, and RJ Starcevic, NASCAR Report on Instagram, Speed Shop 51, and sure I'm forgetting a few others in there. Limeade Media for helping me run this whole show. I don't know what I would do without Tyson Gifford. And all the wonderful friends I've made along the way. I'd also really like to thank Work TV for coming on and broadcasting it. As I know I may give Brayson a hard time sometimes. I really appreciate it. And without all those people, I don't think we'd be here today. And I appreciate it.
All right, Ethan. Well, personally, thank you for having Work TV here for all 14 races this season. From me, and obviously the couple races with Jay Mulder and Tyson Gifford. It's been fun to broadcast through the ups, through the downs, through all the left turns and right turns. I sure was enjoying here closing out the season. I'd say those were two pretty good races, past two races we've had to close out the season. I'd say those were both definitely worth it. So. For that, Ethan, thank you for bringing me on here at Work TV, and for everyone else here at Work TV as well. And hopefully, Ethan, we'll see you around with many more interviews to come. But once again, congratulations on your great points finish, and overall, just a great season here running the GGR Oregon Diecast Indycar Series.
Thank you, Brayson.
All right, folks, we're going to get our final interview in here now. That is going to be with Ethan Workman. We're going to find him on track here, see where that 13 car finish. Looks like he finished P8 on the track, so we're gonna have to try to find that interview thing here. Let's see, there we go. We got Ethan Workman. Ethan, you're in the Work TV booth, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I do have a copy.
Well, in your final race here with Outlaw Racing, you were in the championship hunt. Unfortunately, lots of things happened. You were kind of put in a little bit of a corner in terms of the scenario that would have gotten you that championship in the first place. You showed some promise, ran towards the front tonight, but just a couple wrecks, especially that one off of pit road, ultimately I think cost you some time. Um, do you think there was any way that you could possibly at least come out of tonight with a win, or do you think that the mistakes just kind of overpowered everything tonight?
I knew I wasn't going to win the championship, but I was highly due for a win just because I was running near the front pretty much the half of the race until I just bended off at pit road because just apron reasons. But overall, I thought my season was good, and then just one race happened that can just screw your championship hopes and ruin the whole season for me.
Yeah, for sure. I remember that Iowa race. You were second in points. You had a great position on the championship. Ultimately, looking back, looks like Iowa may have been the race that really determined your championship run, unfortunately. But nevertheless, looking back on your season, I mean, multiple wins. It looked like you may have had a lot of fun out there week in and week out here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. What would you say was your favorite moment from this season?
My favorite moment was getting my first win at Homestead after beating Ethan out for the win. That was probably my favorite moment this season.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely remember the interview there with you. That was a very entertaining race between you and Ethan. You guys were like wheel to wheel. I mean, you guys were sometimes wheel going into wheel. Very crazy race between contact and just racing side by side in general. So, I know this is your last race with Outlaw Racing. You and Blake Kennedy moving on to different ventures. With all that being said and done for the final time as an Outlaw Racing member, Ethan, who would you like to thank tonight before we let you go?
Oh, like to thank my whole team for the final race together with Ocean, Blake, and Ethan Harrison. Had good times, including my favorite moment this whole tenure with them, probably the Daytona 24 hours where we got fourth place with all four of us as teammates. But I guess it's time for a new era for me with Whiteout Sim Racing.
All right, Ethan. Well, best of luck to you with Whiteout Sim Racing. Hopefully, you can produce results. And if Work TV comes back here in GGR, hopefully there's many more interviews to come with you here in this 13 car. But nevertheless, congratulations on a great season. Top 5 points finish, multiple wins. And unfortunately, I know this season didn't finish the way you wanted it to, but you can always look back and see everything that you really accomplished this season. So once again, Ethan, congratulations on a great season here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. And hopefully we'll see you around, bud.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that will do it here for interviews. And for the final time, Here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series, we are going to be signing off here from Work TV. Several sponsors throughout the season. Ultimately, it all came together here with Oregon Diecast. Sponsored the entire season here. So make sure you guys go drop them a follow on Instagram at OregonDiecast. Oregon Diecast has been the series sponsor the entire season here in the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. And well, from myself personally here at Work TV, thank you to Ethan Harrison and everyone who has come, and the hundreds of people, the hundreds of views that we've had throughout the season here on Work TV. It's been a spectacular adventure here broadcasting the GGR Oregon Diecast IndyCar Series. And I appreciate the work of Quentin Haley. He was my co-commentator for most of the season. He's definitely been missed the past few weeks, but I know he put in a lot of good work here for us here on Work TV. So we thank Quentin Haley for being here for most of the season. We got to thank some other guys, Jay Mulder, Tyson Gifford. When I actually made a trip to Charlotte, and ironically, one of the races Jay and Tyson broadcasted, Quentin was racing at Spa, and I was over there being a terrible crew chief for him at his apartment. So thank you to Jay and Tyson for coming out and subbing themselves in for a couple of weeks while I could go have a fun little vacation, and ultimately their work was definitely worth it. I know Jay Mulder at Gateway, he had a pretty iconic call for that finish there when Quentin Haley put the front wing to the rear wing of his brother Justin Haley. So once again, thank you to Jay Mulder and Tyson Gifford. Tyson especially, Limeade Media. Make sure you go check out Limeade Media on Instagram. At Limeade Media. Make sure you go join their Discord server as well. And stay tuned for all the new fun things. Limeade Media, I mean, Tyson pretty much sponsors every league now at this point on the iRacing service, it seems. He's doing a great job, and he's a really big part of the iRacing community right now. So thank you to both of them. Thank you to Henry Clapper as well. He came in, broadcasted a couple races with me. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he decided to fall asleep instead in classic Henry fashion. So thank you to Henry Clapper as well. And thank you to Paul Granada. He came in and broadcasted a race with me as well. And so to all those guys who came in and broadcasted, all the drivers of the league, to all the admins, the owners, just to everyone about part of Work TV and a part of GGR in general, thank you to everyone. And for the final time tonight, and for